big, where's the payoff, right? So are you out there creating ways to go get the nuts, the right things that are going to actually maximize, build that residual cash flow, build that opportunity for you? Or are you off chasing somebody else's shiny squirrel moments?
Or chasing somebody else's nuts. That's even worse. Yeah.
I say that with a straight face.
If I just follow this person long enough, they'll give me the nuts I need.
Jeff, I'm telling you, you think we've been drinking today. We haven't. We are just high on the fact that we have been spending so much time looking at opportunity around where to maximize your time, where to maximize the ways you're showing up. Amy, no kidding, right? Squirrel. Who doesn't? See, look at me. I'm like, squirrel. Squirrel moments. We have these squirrel moments, and we get so caught up on these opportunities where it's like, ooh, shiny, ooh, shiny. And the thing is we go chasing after somebody else's nuts all the time instead of worrying and focusing on what are the things that are going to feed our mighty mission? Yeah, what are the things that are going to lift our business to the next level? And how are we going to create the right opportunities to serve the people in our network?
Because how many times have we been like, okay, I'm focused on this, this is going to be great, this is going to give me exactly what I need. Squirrel! And all of a sudden we're off to the races and we find ourselves, looking at emu farms in Idaho rather than giving ourselves the time and the attention and the focus and the accountability.
Right, and I gotta tell you, I got two of my girls on from Rantoul, Illinois. Shout out to Lisa and Amy who are on the video. You know what I'm talking about. We need to have those caution signs they used to have in Rantucky, right? Those ones that said caution, squirrels at work.
Did they really have
They had these awesome orange signs in Rantoul that were all called caution squirrels at work. My question is, are you working your business to create the right nuts, the right opportunities, think about the harvest and think about the fact that you want to be storing some of those nuts, you want to be storing those opportunities, you want residual cash flow, you want food for a long time, right?
You need a nut stash.
Yes, or are you working towards those things that, like I call it, the noise, right? Are there a lot of the distractions and the opportunities? And yeah, we're having a little fun with this. We've been a little punchy. We're going on very little sleep. But we wanted to have fun with this, right? Because it's an opportunity to get centered. It's an opportunity to get grounded. And I'm going to tell you, you all know I am the biggest violator of the squirrel syndrome. And it's like, ooh, there's a little rabbit hole. Ooh, there's a little shiny squirrel hole. Ooh, there's a nut. And it's like, wait, what was I focused on? Where am I going? Yeah. And stop getting distracted, stop letting that noise creep in, because it's really about standing in a space to get clear and then hold yourself accountable in that space.
Yeah, and let's talk a minute about holding ourselves accountable, because we know how that goes.
Right.
So this is where you have to have a squirrel pack. You got to have a squirrel tribe, all right? Because we're all the same. We all are dealing with this shininess that we so much love. So instead of resisting that, you just got to find other squirrels. I often say that I'm a purple squirrel, okay? So we're these rare and unique creatures. So when you find, Candy and I had a chance to really get to know each other a lot more this weekend.
Last 2 days, yeah, really.
And I'm like, oh my God, another purple squirrel, thank God. Right?
Wait, remember that whole thing that I put out there that says go find your weirdos, embrace your inner weirdo, be your weirdo. You got to find your weirdo tribe. Find those little squirrels that want to play in space with you, so that also when you're going off on these deviated tracks, you're getting diverted, you're getting all like, woo! They are the people that are going to call squirrel, and they're going to bring you back, and they're going to ground you back in the place that you need to be playing. We got a lot of comments coming on there.
Robert,
awesome, love your posts and posts. Oh, I love Letitia. I'm so glad you're on. Robert Skelly, got it, Bob. I love seeing you here. Never do this talk on the island of man. That's awesome.
The Isle of Man.
The island of man.
Squirrels live on the Isle of Man.
I think it's a whole nuts discussion.
Oh.
Squirrel fact, there are no squirrels there.
Well, let's take a minute and let's talk about your friend's nuts. You can pick your friends, you can pick your nuts, but you can't pick your... Never mind. Okay, so anyway, I've been entertaining her for a couple of days.
Oh my gosh, you have no idea the things that have come out of this woman's mouth the last 2 days. I just have to tell you.
Though.
But seriously, I want to open this up for a minute. I think, talking about friends nuts,
yeah.
But I want to actually, we're going to play with you guys. Obviously, we're in just a really fun space. We got some cool music in the background. There's a wedding reception or something going on, and we're here. We kind of stepped out from the conference we're at because just a little brain overload on all the ideas that are just exploding. We've had so many opportunities to talk about collaboration and things that are showing up, and just this is is an example of being able to play in space with somebody. I mean, really, Tina and I know each other through the Evolutionary Business Council that we're both part of, but we've only really gotten to play in space together the last 2 days. And so when you have connections with people like this that just vibe off each other and feed off each other, this is the kind of magic you can create. And so I want to open it up for just a minute. We've got a ton of people that are jumping on, and I love seeing these comments, you guys. Yeah, there are no squirrels there. I want to attend your seminars. Jeff, I got one coming up in December. You and I need to talk. We got a mastermind coming up. But I want you guys to ask us some questions. Ask some questions about the distractions or the noise, or I want this to be a little bit of a play space that we get to share with you and offer you. We're here. We kind of stepped out so that we can serve and we can really be present with you, and we kind of want to see what's going on out in the world right now. So where are you guys getting stuck? Where are you getting off track and maybe off on some of those shiny squirrel moments? What can we help you with?
Most of us have a place that's pretty consistent where we stop and we get distracted. So I know that for me, it's usually right toward the end of a launch, right toward the end of a process. And I have to have a lot of structures in place for myself and a lot of accountability in place to help me move past into that final push past the finish line. So what about you guys? Where do you tend to get stuck? Is it in the idea creation process?
Right.
Do you get stuck on the technology? Where is it for you that you find that your squirrels are just, they're out of there, right?
Mine is in the details. I'll be very honest. I am like, big picture, can come up with every idea, and finally, and that's where I get off track. Like I see something, I'm like, ooh, I want to build that in my business. Ooh, I want that. And then it's like, wait, how am I going to execute? What's the plan for accountability? What's the plan for follow through? Sometimes I'm not so good on my follow through. And so I get lost sometimes in the details. And because if I don't break them down the right way, and because they feel overwhelming, and I'm like, ugh, you mean to create that vision, I got to do X, Y, and Z and get there? Details, Jeff, great. What about the details? I'd like to know more. Tell me more about what's getting in your way. I want to hear from you guys. You guys are showing up. This is our opportunity to feed into you and have some real meaty discussion around those squirrel tracks, because you guys are here for a reason. You relate. You know what we're talking about when we say chasing the nuts down the wrong squirrel holes and rabbit holes and whatever other holes are out there. How do you stay focused on the things that really matter to you most? And so really want to know, where are you getting stuck in the details? What's happening? What's showing up for you?
While you're thinking about that, we have a little shiny squirrel song for you.
Oh my God, you were not going to sing that.
Of course we are.
You get the big picture initially, then what happens? I'm curious. Once you get the big picture, once you're fired up on that, Jeff, what happens after that? And you are not going to sing. We are going to sing this shiny squirrel song?
You promise.
Okay. We made up a new song around our shiny squirrels.
Yes.
By the way, we're going to create these little characters that have these capes, these golden capes on the back with SS for Super Squirrel. And then we're going to have this big old bling that's a big S that's like squirrel power. But anyway, launching the idea into action, you pause. So what's causing the pause? And this is not just for Jeff, but for the rest of you, because I can relate to that. You get the idea, you're ready to take action, and then it's like, whoa, I'm gonna back that up. And for me, a lot of times, there's one or two things that show up. One, I have no idea how to take the first step, so I get paralyzed in not knowing which direction to turn, or my fear of success shows up. And I know that sounds crazy. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm afraid to fail. I'm not afraid to fail. Sometimes I'm afraid because it's going to go so big. What does that mean in terms of what's opening up? And yeah, Jeff, you're agreeing. Too many details and don't delegate. Oh, that is like my biggest opportunity. We're not going to call things problems. Well, biggest opportunity is delegation.
I don't know anyone in this room who might feel like they have to do it right in order to do it at all. And maybe, you know, it's in a matter of getting comfortable with experimenting and getting comfortable with going back and forth with the people you're looking to delegate to, and maybe allowing yourself to make a mistake in doing that and having it be, you know, a learning curve, allowing yourself that learning curve. And man, because our squirrel brains.
Well, yeah, and I actually have a couple things I want you to think about. I will tell you, these are like sucker punches to me when I'm not standing in the right space, especially when it comes time to ask for help or delegate. And Jeff, I feel you so much, because I get a little noise in my head that says, I don't want to dump this on someone else. I don't want to I don't want to impede someone else's time. This is a menial task and it's kind of grunt work or crap work, right? And I don't want to give that to someone else. But what I forget is what may be something that is kind of icky to me and something I don't want to really dig into is somebody else's joy. And so I want you to think about 3 questions, and I put these out there before for you guys, but I want you to think about them as they're showing up with that noise, because that noise around not delegating.
Yeah.
I want you to think about who are you not serving because you're getting caught up in a space where you're not pushing off the things that are your strengths. You're not pushing off those things that aren't you playing to your highest and best value. And so it's blocking your ability to serve somebody because you're wasting time spinning in that space, right? So who are you not serving? Number 2 is whose permission are you taking away? So it's that idea of making the assumption that says, well, I can't delegate, they're busy, this is grunt work. You don't even give someone the permission to decide to say yes or no. And so you're taking away their permission. And those of you that are like me, that are all about helping people tap into their own empowerment, you're taking that opportunity away. And then the 3rd piece is really around, and this is the one that is like a sucker punch that seriously has been thrown back in my face a few too many times, is who are you not letting shine their light? Because it goes back to the fact that just because you don't like to do it, somebody else, that might be their joy. That might be the way they get to serve you. Because here's the thing, leaders know it's not always about how you serve others, it's about giving others the opportunity to serve you. And if you're not delegating, if you're not asking for help, and I'll tell you, I had a call with one of my really good friends, and Corey, for those of you that know my friend Corey, she called me once and I was in a space and I had told her I had a bad day, and she's like, why didn't I get a phone call? And I'm like, because I don't want to put a burden on you. You got a family and 3 kids, one of them being my goddaughter. And she's like, wow, when did you get to decide what kind of friend I get to be for you? And think about that. Think about how many times we don't let people stand in that space with us because we're being selfish. By the way, I hate that word. Selfish, that's that sucker punch for me.
No selfish squirrels.
Selfish when we don't delegate and we don't let people shine and we don't let them serve us because we're not serving other people and we're not giving the opportunity to let other people stand in their light and serve us.
Yeah, completely. And this also goes back to what I was saying before, that silly analogy about, you know, making sure you have a squirrel tribe and getting to know each other's nuts, is that let me tell you about some of Candy's nuts. So you know, I specialize in helping people unleash their voice and using podcasts and using audiobooks and all these other things. Candy has this deep expertise in helping people take their message into the corporate world and getting powerful corporate contracts. And we're talking to each other and we saw in each other this opportunity to be of service to each other with our expertise. That is squirrel power right there. That is harnessing your inner squirrels, is when you can get to the point of, you know, letting your squirrel shine and getting to know each other's nuts and then making use of them for each other in service of the bigger picture.
Well, yeah, because then your stash, that whole harvest that you're trying to reap and grow, starts to grow exponentially, right? Because not only were we talking about how we could combine nuts in the corporate space, but we were talking about it in terms of the work that I do with kids and the opportunity that Tina has spent time working with kids as well, and where are those connection points, and it gets really meaty and juicy. Oh, and by the way, as all of you know, I'm an author, and this woman is an expert in getting those books out in Audible and audio format so that I can actually share a message with you on a bigger platform. And so, I mean, talk about just synergy going on in every way, every shape, every how. And so you don't realize that there's even more opportunities to kind of build that nest, to build that harvest, to build that stash until you start to connect with those people that are supposed to be in your tribe.
Communal nut stash.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. So what do we got? We got to have a few last words to wrap things up.
Okay, so Super Squirrel.
Super Squirrel. Shiny Syndrome, Shiny Syndrome.
Super Squirrel. Okay, so this is the thing. We are down on ourselves because we have this intense need to create and these ideas that show up for us. Well, instead of suppressing that, we can start to lean into that by surrendering to having more of a team, getting more vulnerable with the people in our lives, getting to know each other better, and seeing where we can serve each other to lift everybody up. One of the things that came up in this weekend was the concept of lift as you climb.
I love that
and
saying.
so as we're climbing up, but we're lifting ourselves up, we're also lifting up other people as we go, right? And that's the definition of true leadership, where you're lifting as you climb, and everybody then gets to ascend that ladder.
Absolutely, and you guys know, I'm always talking about leadership is not something that's born or created. And we're going to take this just on a little serious to close this out. But it really is, leadership is a choice, right? Leadership's a choice in how you choose to show up, how you choose to serve others, and how you choose to take personal responsibility inside that space. And as we talk and are having some fun with where's my nuts kind of conversation and talking about those squirrel syndrome moments and all those shiny objects that are sitting out there, we say that with a lot of love and compassion and respect because we want you to stand in a space that allows you to be the leader you are destined to be and to make those choices that take responsibility to serve and delegate and truly play at your highest and best level. And so, Tina, it has been a blast playing with you in this space, and I hope you all know I have so much love for this woman, and we have some big things that are really going to come out together. There is just so much opportunity.